Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. And who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Mario Barrios. I also want to talk about Errol "The Truth" Spence and possible matchup. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time to subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button. It does help. It does show love and support to this channel. And let's talk about this. So Barrios' team basically has been saying they want the Errol Spence fight. Barrios looks very good at 147. I mean, he looks pretty, he was always big for the division, but he looks very comfortable and very strong for 147. And, you know, the last time we saw Errol Spence, he didn't look so good. Now would be a great time to capitalize on, you know, the resume of Errol Spence, the name of Errol Spence, the popularity of Errol Spence. Why not? It would make sense to do so. I'm not even mad at the strategy behind it. The question is, do I think Barrios could beat Errol Spence? No, I don't. I think what people have to realize is this. Errol Spence lost to Terrence Crawford. That is true. However, there's no shame in how Errol Spence fought, first and foremost. Got up several times. He fought on. He was getting busted up. It didn't stop him, didn't slow him down, didn't deter him, and he wasn't even fearful of what was coming next. He continued to walk through the fire, so he had an honorable fight. But on top of that, he's not a broken fighter. Number one, it's his first loss. He's not a broken fighter. Here's the thing. He's not a broken fighter, and he lost to the best guy in the world at that weight. It's one thing if it's one thing if Terrence Crawford was like number 4, and then number 4 did that to number 1, who was Errol Spence at the time. So yeah, I suppose that would mess you up, like not just physically but psychologically. I suppose that would mess you up. But if you lose to the best guy in the world, who was a former undisputed champion at another weight class, moves up and starts, you know, going on a tear and doing the same thing, the same process all over again, I don't understand what there is to be ashamed of or anything like that. I get it. You know, the people on the outside are saying now's a good time. We can get that fight. We can get that fight. You know, let's have it in Texas because, you know, Barrios is Mexican. Let's have it in Texas. Spence has a very big following, a very big fan base, and he's from Texas. So let's have it in Texas. I get it. Listen, in terms of marketing and strategy and management, I get it. I totally get it. I'm not mad at it. But if you think that you're going to beat Errol Spence because he's some wounded animal, you got another thing coming. Because you just got another thing coming. He's not a wounded animal. He's just lying low, but he's not a wounded animal. He lost to the best guy in the world. We're talking about the same guy who dismantled Danny Garcia. And Barrios is not Danny Garcia. He's not Mikey Garcia. I'm sorry. He's just not on that level. He's not on that level. And if they were to fight, I think that would be really clear really early. Now, granted, we haven't seen Errol Spence. We haven't heard much from Errol Spence, and we don't know how he's moving and operating. But, I mean, I'm sure he's up and going, and I'm sure he's in the gym. I'm sure for those things. Do I think Errol Spence needs to be in Terrence Bud Crawford fight shape to beat Barrios? No, I don't. I don't think that at all. I don't think that at all. And that's not a knock against Barrios. I just think that there are levels, and Errol Spence had previously ascended to a level where he was the guy. And before becoming the guy, he was the guy who was known as the boogeyman. And you think that, or it's thought that Barrios can beat this guy? No. Not even their fight styles convinces me that Barrios can beat Errol Spence. Not even their fight styles. Errol Spence could Barrios is the perfect opponent for Errol Spence to be Errol Spence at his finest. He's the perfect opponent. There's no tricks to Barrios. He's kind of there's no special effects to him. There's none. There's no special effects to him. He tends to stay stagnant and stationary. There's not a lot of leg work. No foot movement or anything like that. He's not the biggest puncher in the world. Like there's just whatever the threat is for most guys, Barrios is not that. It's not like he's some boxing genius in the ring. So he doesn't have, Errol Spence wouldn't have to worry about chasing him down and then, trying to figure it out, because he's showing him so many looks. Barrios isn't that. He's not a magician in the ring. Barrios is not, some hard knockout artist. He's not that. He's not that either. So he doesn't necessarily have to worry about that in the ring. Barrios is a hard worker, and he's consistent, and he'll show up 100%, and he'll show up in shape to fight. I will definitely give him that. But there is nothing that would make me think Errol Spence, recently beaten or not, would have much difficulty with Barrios. I think Errol Spence is too consistent. I think he does hit harder than Barrios. Like I said, he's consistent. Errol Spence can throw easily 90 punches in a round. Barrios can't keep up with that work rate. And Errol Spence can do that for 12 rounds. Barrios can't keep up with that work rate. There's just nothing that I feel like Barrios does better than Errol Spence. There's nothing. There's nothing that he does better than Errol Spence. I can't think of anything. And, like I said, Barrios has heart, and he's a hard worker. I think he would show up, and I think he would be ill-advised, but I think he would, at some point in the fight, try to walk Errol Spence down or try to meet him and, like, I'm not backing up. And that's, number one, Earl's the wrong guy for that. He's the wrong guy for that. He's the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight didn't make Earl look bad in my eyes. It solidified what I already thought about him. This guy has no quit. This guy will not slow down, and this guy will never give up on himself. That's the wrong dude for you to want to fight when he's coming back to the ring after a devastating loss. That's what I think. I think Errol Spence is going to be on a tear when he gets back. I do like the fight, though. I like the fight for a few reasons. I like the fight because I do think Errol Spence needs a tune-up fight. I like the fight because Barrios is no pushover, and Barrios would test Errol in ways that would... We need to know what type of Earl's coming back. Is it a more reserved Earl? Like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't step on the gas so much. Is it going to be that type of guy, that type of Errol Spence where he's more reserved? Or is it going to be the Errol Spence of old where, no, I'm going to step on the gas. I'm going to run this guy over. Now, Barrios is the type of mentality and the type of fighter that would answer those questions, because we need to know the answer to those questions. I think he needs to know the answer to those questions. We would like to know the answer to the question, and I think Barrios can provide the type of fight that would give us all the answers to those questions. Also, to shake out the cobwebs. It's been a long time since he's fought, and when he went out, it didn't go out so well. So shake out the cobwebs, tune-up fight, and I think Barrios is a tough guy. I just don't think he's the type of guy who's going to beat Errol Spence. One, Errol Spence is not at the end of his career. Two, it's the first time Errol Spence took a beating. Errol has been in, tough fights, but that was like the Kell Brook, the Sean Porter fight. I don't pick Barrios to beat Sean Porter if Sean Porter came out of retirement right now. Sean Porter's been gone for what? Well over a year? Going on 2 years? I don't pick him to beat Porter. So I definitely don't pick him to beat Errol Spence. On no day do I expect him to beat Errol Spence. But I think it'd be a fun fight. I also think Errol could get his first stoppage in a very long time, and it could once again be man down. But it's a fun fight, and I wouldn't be opposed to it. I would actually very much so look forward to it if it were actually made. But drop your thoughts down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me, do you agree that it could be a very entertaining and fun fight for Errol Spence and Barrios to fight and get it on? Or do you think it's a waste of time and it's kind of like a backtrack? Because technically, it is kind of like a backtrack. I just fought Terrence Crawford, and now I'm fighting you. So it is kind of a backtrack. But you drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you have to say. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe to this channel.